Day 11, and it's Thursday, and the website's going live next Monday. So we are very close to launch. We just got feedback from another client contact because I'm working with two guys, right? I'm working with Peter and Thomas. And Thomas looked at it and he's really happy with it. He says he has no other things that he would change besides what Peter already wrote me, which is what we're going to look at today. And I'm happy that he's happy. But before we even go into what we're going to do today, I want to spend some time with the progress sheet, which is a sheet that I my intention for this is to have detailed breakdown of how this project is going to go, and it's a checklist for myself. So if I was a diligent man, I would be updating this checklist while I'm working on the project, every couple days or something like that. But clearly, as you can see, I am not a diligent man. So I have an empty checklist here and the project is 90% done. So we're going to spend some time together to just go through what this project has entailed so far, and to just get a good grip on what we still need to do. I'm expecting that by the end of going through this, which is going to take us the next 5 to 7 minutes, we're going to have most of phase 3 still open. So let's see. I'm going to start here. Let's see if it's 5 to 7 minutes. So qualification was the first step, where basically qualification is where you just tell the client, listen, this is going to cost between X and Y dollars or euros. Are you cool with that? And then, if they run away, your job is done. First meeting obviously was done. Project preparations, initiate project management and tasks. This is where I set up my, Bittrex 24 and stuff like that. Domain and hosting is done, which is what I'm doing. They're hosting with me. Email and mailboxes is in. I'm going to set this to ongoing because I got to double check if all the emails are fine. Are they all properly set up? But if I remember correctly, I set them all up the way they want them, and I sent them the necessary data. Dev environment. I think I even had I know I had one call with them where I set up Outlook, or I try to help them set up Outlook. Development environment. Yeah, of course that was set up. Data consolidation is where they send me stuff. I do interviews and so on, and I just review everything, all the material that's already there. That was obviously done. Market analysis, I get a general idea of what market they're in and how they're going to position themselves on it. Keywords and SEO concept. This client isn't really that interested in SEO. They have their target audience and they're not going to use SEO to be found. Website structure is just where I make a flowchart, a diagram of the website structure. I don't know even if we did that for this website because it was so simple, but it's clearly set to okay here because in one way or another, the structure is now set up and it's there. UX design wireframe is something I've actually just been improving my process for that, and I'm about to release a nice tool that I made in Google Docs, which has its advantages and disadvantages, but it's a tangent. So yeah, there's some stuff coming here. Strategy meeting. Yeah, we had our strategy meeting. Everything was cool. Corporate identity. We worked on that. This is now this phase. So phase 1 is discovery, which is basically conceptualizing, research, laying the groundwork for the whole project. Phase 2 is implementation. Implementation has 2 sub phases: design and content, and then the desktop version. Well, and then technically, yeah, it's 3 sub phases. The third sub phase is mobile design, legal matters, and technology. So copywriting and assets is done. UI design is done. Discussion and feedback about that is done. In this process tool, or in my process, I usually keep these. I just prepare spots for meetings, but then in the end, in the actual project, there's going to be different meetings than that, right? There's going to be more meetings. There's going to be different meetings at different points. It's just important to have the milestones kind of capped off by meetings and to know that everything is on track. So these are there. Theme configuration. Obviously, I configured the theme. We looked at that. This is roughly where we came in, right? The UI design here, this is what I did in Figma. So when we started our video series, day 1 was basically with the finished UI design, which obviously we've all seen that in Figma. So that part was done, that was discussed with the client, it was approved by them, and this is where you and I started working together. Theme configuration, front page. I've obviously built the front page. There are no other pages right now. I don't count legal docs and stuff as other pages. Those are sort of part of, or like a 404 template. So that's part of the, basics. We don't have, so other pages are just other content pages. Metadata, I don't think we've done that yet. So this is going to have to stay open. Internal and external linking might be worth looking into. Obviously, internal linking isn't that important, but it's basically, this step is where I set up a link structure inside the website, if this is a multi-page website, so that, the user experience improves. People can jump off at any given point where it makes sense to dive deeper into the website, or jump to different parts of the website. Also, external linking, I link to external resources like knowledge bases or interesting articles or anything that provides additional complementary or deeper information, which also improves the user experience. And obviously Google is watching. So if you do that, if you pay attention and if you invest some time in internal and external linking, then Google is gonna like that, and you're gonna have a better chances at ranking. Review including local citations is done. Local citations is like being featured on, business directories, or even just Google My Business, or having a Google business profile. Okay, but 5 minutes in, this is definitely not going to take just 7 minutes. Responsive design is done. We did that together just a couple of videos ago. Legal documents, GDPR, we're probably going to do that today. Cookie policy and banner, it's a pain in the ass. I don't know if we're going to do that today. 404 page, I don't know if that's done yet. Custom solutions, forum, live chat, block calendar, forms, SMTP. I mean, we had some animations that the client wanted us to do, and I'm going to mark them as okay, even though there's always opportunity to add more bling after launch, right? But clearly the client is happy with the way the website is and works now. I kind of think we could have some entry animations or something, just a little bit. Never go overboard with it, but just some additional stuff. Again, it looks good. Release candidate meeting is done. I mean, yeah. Peter was here a couple days ago, and Thomas looked at it and liked it. The punch list, that's the final change request that Peter sent over yesterday and the day before that, and one time before that too, which we're going to take care of today. So this is still open. The launch meeting is, I don't know if we're going to have a launch meeting. It's all set up, I'm going to gray that out. We discussed everything via email. I told them what's going to happen between now and Monday. They know the timeline. They know I'm on that, and I'm going to do it. And since they've approved the release candidate minus those things in the punch list, which we're going to do now, I think there's no further meeting necessary really for the launch. But the launch meeting, if we had it, would be a quick final review and approval for release. I'm just considering that done. So we have a cleanup. Actually, I renamed this recently to housekeeping. I think this is a really nice word for that. Tidy up and sort out backend posts, media, users, plugins, all that stuff. Hasn't yet been done. We just need to go over the backend with fine-tooth comb and just take out some trash if there is any, because there's always something that you do during production that you might not need when the thing goes live. Go live is we just transfer to live environment, which we don't really need to do because we're building on MyxoTech.com. We also don't need 301 redirects because there's no old website where we need to redirect the old URLs to new equivalents. So, and licenses, yeah, since we're not migrating, we don't have to re-update licenses, because there are some license plugins. If you migrate a website from staging to live, the plugin's going to tell you this is not licensed, you're not getting updates, and then you need to reset the license. SSL encryption is done. Website security, that's what we're probably going to be able to do today. Email whitelisting, SPF record. I'm in the process of extending this step a little, but for now, I'm going to consider this part done, because an SPF record is just something that you put in the DNS of the domain to indicate to recipients that emails coming from this domain are actually not spam. So if you don't have an SPF record, or it's not properly set up, then if somebody uses info@myxotech.com to send out an email to somebody else, there's a chance the recipient server is going to say, I never heard of MyxoTech.com. I know Gmail, I know GMX, I know, other providers, but this I have never heard of, and it might get suspicious and just mark it as spam. And with an SPF record, we're lowering that probability. Check up GDPR privacy. There's a lot of quality assurance going on here, right? Like check up on-page SEO and GDPR privacy. Since we're doing the GDPR thing now, I'm going to mark both the checkup and actually doing it, which is further up, as completed when we're done. Web analytics, we're going to set up Matomo, which is a Google Analytics alternative that runs locally and is thus fully GDPR compliant. And, that's a good thing to have. Even though the client is not that interested in statistics, there's going to come a point in the future where, it's going to be just really cool to be able to look at how many people are on the website, what they're doing, and so on. Performance and functionality, page speed optimization, Favicon for all devices. That's probably something we're going to do today as well. One round of QA released to search engines. Yeah, we're not at that point. Tool assisted as is analysis. We're not at that point yet either. Handover, and then some monitoring for 1 to 2 weeks follow-ups. Okay, so this is where we are. Okay, this was 9 minutes. But hey, 9 minutes to walk you through the process. I like that. So we are gonna start off with the punch list because we want to really get the client requests out of the way first. So there's one thing. Oh, there's an update here. I'm gonna install the update. Let's look at the punch list. Let me see if I can show you the email, or if I'm giving away any. I'm not going to show you the email. I'm going to look at it on another screen. So you're going to have to bear with me. There we go. He wants me to work on the 4 panels. You're going to hear edit with bricks. So I'm going to describe to you what he wants, and we're gonna find an elegant way to do that. These 4 panels here. He likes the way I diminish their size. They're sharper now. That looks good. But he kind of wants the middle 2 panels to really show the bulk, like the main parts of these fruiting bodies. So especially this one, there's negative space here, right? And he wants to eliminate that. So one thing we can do is just move this around a little more. But also he says he would like it if these weren't all strictly the same width. They can be different widths and, show more of the actual fruiting bodies, and then the edges can be smaller widths. And this is something that I'm going to, work on now. So we go, first of all, to this fruiting body. We're going to change the object position, not 50, but let's make it 40. Wait, no, 50. It's XY. Yeah, of course. So it's 50. No, then it's 80. Yes. Right. Let's make it 75. No, 80 is fine. And now we go to the mosaic. We got repeat for min-max. So what we're going to do is min-max 0, 1 FR. Min-max. Or should we use a grid builder for that? No, we're not. 0, because I need to see the images while I'm building this. 2 FR. There. Now let's see. The first one is going to be 1 FR. The second one is going to be, let's make it, what if I do 2 here? What if I do 1.5? And then 1.5 here. I'm going to pause and then I'm going to play around with this a little until I have something that I think looks fine, but still, yeah, probably I'm going to have to sit down with Peter and just do this live until he's happy with it because he has the vision. But let's see. I'm going to do some adjusting and then we'll be back. Talk to you in a moment. All right. So, I mean, there's no perfect solution for this, I feel, but this is close enough, I think. evidently, in the end, it's gonna have to be Peter who decides that. The thing is, these 4 panels, no matter what you do, they're going to have to shrink and grow dynamically depending on viewport size, and they always have a relationship to each other. So you make one larger, the other ones get smaller. They're always interconnected. And if you just look at how they behave, if you have different screen sizes, then you'll see that there's only so much you can do to get the best possible outcome. And I think this outcome is perfectly acceptable for all screen sizes. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to leave it there, and then we're going to see what Peter has to say about it. Now let's go to the email. FAQ section. He says there's a question missing. There's just a bunch of text that I accidentally copied incorrectly. I'm going to do that in a moment while pausing. And then the team photo, I like how it includes our full profiles. However, the image quality is still a bit lower than ideal, he says. I was thinking we could shrink it a bit to hide the resolution. I will gladly shrink it. We're going to look into that, and we're going to build that, background that you and I talked about, and that Peter is also expecting at this point. So that's our next step. But first, I'm going to fix that FAQ. All right, so that's fixed, and now we're back with the team image. So what Peter says is that he still doesn't like the resolution. He still feels it's a bit unsharp. I'm undecided, or I kind of doubt that we can do that much about it, because the original image that he sent me is 2,700 pixels wide, right? And you remember when we actually edited the image, we already shrunk it down to 1,200. So that's more than a 50% reduction already. So if we make it even smaller, I don't know how much sharper it's going to get. I think this is just the picture we have. And unless they make another one, which then I don't want to crop that, but this might happen. Let's see. So making it smaller gives us the benefit that we're going to have a smaller file size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, re-export it, because, I could just make this smaller here by scaling it in the browser. But, having a smaller file size in the backend is even better. So we're going to go to 1,000 pixels. And we're going to export it again. I'm going to call it, what did I call this one? Team cropped. So this is going to be team cropped B. Put that in my test folder. I'm going to run curtail on it. Those files, tests, team crop B. So hopefully something with the 3 in front of it. Yeah, 399. Good enough. So that's it. Why did I call it Team Crop B? Because if I call it the same again and then I re-upload it in WordPress, the thumbnail is not going to change. WordPress is still going to think it's the old one and going to use the same thumbnail, which in this case won't make a difference. But if you ever re-edit an image and re-upload it, you can regenerate thumbnails. There's a plugin for that, but you could just rename it with a B or a 2 or something, or version 2 or something at the end, and then that's the best solution in my mind. It also tells the viewer, whoever works with these, actually I still need that file. Whoever works with these, it tells them that, there have been iterations done on this. So Alt Tab, thank you, Team Crop B, bingo. And we're not going to need this larger one anymore. If we do, we can always re-export it. Before I forget, I'm going to go back to GIMP. I'm going to press Control Z. So I don't want to accidentally override my project file here. So insert this, 1,000 pixels, and then now I can even scale it down a little further. Let's go to layout, width. Let's say 90 rem. Let's make it 80. There, still fine. And what else do I need for that Safari bug? Resources. So this is a wiki that I've been keeping for like 9 years, where I still, whenever I learn something useful, I just throw it in there. And so there's about the Safari bug, I have this, right? Safari is stretching images when I'm using height or width auto. So when you use width auto, I need to set to set that twice, I guess. And there's another workaround if the height is auto and the width is fixed, but we're not using that. Where are we? Here. So I'm going to make it a figure, HTML tag figure. And then in CSS, I'm going to put this. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I don't have Safari. Although Safari is available for Windows, isn't it? I could install it on my Windows virtual machine and actually test it, but should be fine. It's been fine in the past, so I expect it's going to be fine. So what we're going to have to do, where does the stopwatch go so it doesn't bother me? The image, we're going to put the image in a wrapper, wrap it in a div. So the div is going to have the same width. The block would have a 100% width. I don't want that. I want a div, and the div is going to be called team photo. And then in here I have this image, and then I put an SVG. Or was it an icon? What did I use before? Where's the MyxoTech logo here? That's a logo. Well, that's an SVG. Okay, gotcha. So let's go back here, or let's just copy this. There. You just need the same thing again down here. There. Now the div is going to be flex. Display flex, right? We're going to have direction column. We are going to align cross-axis center. And we want the logo to not have this logo class, because I believe the logo class, all it does is it gives it a width of 20 rem. I actually want the width, and on this particular one, to grow and shrink proportionally. So we're going to have, now it's 100%, is it? No, now it's got the intrinsic width that's of the SVG. So we're going to give the width, like if I were to do 100%, then now it would stretch to the edges of the div, and the edges of the div are determined by the width, the fixed width of the image, right? But we don't want that. So we're gonna, actually, you know, while I'm working on this, just to make this visible as a quick helper here, I'm gonna put in just a shade of gray. So you can now see here's our logo, right? Now let's go back to the logo. What we want is we want to have the width, like, let's say 60%. Let's make it less than that. Let's make it 45%. Or was it, oh, no. Yes, I want, okay, here. We're going to go to style, layout. We're gonna give it a max width of, let's make it 75%, okay? But we're gonna give it a width, a width of 75% and a max width of 40 rem. There we go. So 400 pixels wide. Let's make it 350. 350, unless 75% is less than that. We're going to see how this behaves when we shrink later. I'm sure you can already imagine it. I cannot actually show you. Like, see, now it's 300, 350, 350. You know, it stays 350. And now it should start shrinking, right? There we go. Now it starts shrinking because now it's 75% wide, which is less than 350 pixels, right? So that's what we just did. And we are gonna give it a margin, padding, a top and bottom padding. So we're gonna link opposites. Gonna select a variable here. It's going to be space XXL. We'll do space XL or L. L is enough. Yes. It looks off-center because this thing kind of sticks out. But we'll see how this pans out when we actually put in the before, because that's what we're going to do next. We go to the photo, this div. We're going to make a before. It has no content. Wait, first I need to unselect the before. I need to go to layout, position, relative, right? Now back to the before pseudo element, and I'm going to tell this to be with, first of all, a background color. And this is our, let's make it the base color. Yeah, of course, right now it's not going to show. We go to layout because it has no height or width, right? So we go to height, 70%, width, 75, 80. Yeah, this picture is going to be 75. So this needs to be wider than the picture. Let's make it 85%, or we can make it 90%. And then we need to position it top 0. Okay, now I expected, I kind of expected it to show even before this. What am I doing? What am I forgetting? Oh, can it be position absolute, of course. There. And we are going to stack it. I'm going to give it a z-index of, does the logo have a z-index? Why is the logo under this in the first place? Okay, logo gets a z-index of 1. I don't need to understand it, I just need to fix it. And now all we need to do is control the height so it doesn't stick out down here. Although it's probably, it doesn't even look that horrible if it sticks out there. But I kind of want the edge to go between here, right? To go through here. And we're going to see if this works well on different screen sizes. Also, I don't like the rhythm of this. So we're gonna be changing some of the width and the relationships of these elements to each other. Now, position, we're going to go back to the before. We are gonna, why don't we decrease the width to a point where I'm happy with that? So let's say this is something I'm happy with, right? 75 is good. So now you can already tell on smaller devices, since this is also 75, it's going to hit the edges. So we're going to have to make this like 65 or something like that. The height, we're going to go here. It's 55. Okay, nice. And we are off to the races. Make it 65. And then let's just try different screen resolutions. Screen width. Yeah, now this already looks pretty damn big. Yeah, 65 is, it should be less than that. It really should be. Let's make it 45. So max width, 30 rem. Let's try again. Yeah, now this is not looking too bad. This is actually looking pretty cool. I like it. Look at that, boys and girls. Wonderful. It might still be a little overpowering. The MyxoTech logo is probably a little overpowering on really smaller devices, because like the team picture shrinks, and now like starting here, the MyxoTech logo is kind of too big still. So I would give this, I would just make it a smidge smaller still. Let's see. Bing, 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 40%. And let's try again. And from there, it's the client's decision. They still wanna, yeah, this is nice. And we can see that the blue backdrop, this before element, always stays at that height, which probably mathematically makes perfect sense anyway. So let's get rid of this background color here that I put in for illustration purposes. And I think we now have what Peter wants. Yeah, this is wonderful. It's looking good. This is nice. This is nice. Perfectly works. Text is good. MyxoTech team. Yep. Yeah, man. This is great. This is great. This is looking so professional. I'm really happy with it. Okay, so we are done with all these things. I need to drink a little bit of tea, so I'm going to pause here. And then we jump into the other parts of this video where we take care of, some tech setup and other details. Talk to you soon. All right, we're back. So now come the parts that I kind of keep procrastinating every time because they're dull. First of all, we're going to work on legal documents. So this is going to be in German. Still, I think it's interesting for you guys. I'm obviously going to walk you through what I'm doing now. Just, I guess, to know, what this is, what we're doing. We're creating a privacy policy. So actually, I can't show you more right now because there's other clients in here. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to see how I can, or if I can guide you through this. If not, I'm just going to create them and come back. All right, so we're at the start of the generator. And what I'm doing here is I'm using erecht24.de. So it's basically just a full-fledged privacy suite where it generates a privacy policy for you. Before I use that, I usually send my clients this generator here. So for everybody watching who's German, this is a good one, really. I like it. So you just go to activemind.de, Datenschutzgeneratoren, Impressum, which is the Impressum is your imprint, or the better word in English is the legal notice, and you have them create that, which takes them about 10 minutes and is really self-explanatory. And then at the end, they provide you with an HTML, well, this generator provides them with a box of HTML code, and you tell them to send you that. And I have this HTML code, so I have the final imprint, the legal notice that they sent me, and we can, so we can put that on MyxoTech.com, but we can also use the information in that for the privacy policy. And I'm going to go off on a tangent here, or I'm going to take a detour. It's not a tangent. Before we actually make the privacy policy, let's just put the legal notice that they've already sent us into the website. So just one more save to be on the safe side. We go, that was an unnecessary mouse click. We go right into the backend. I could have gone there straight. We look, I think in my blueprint, I already have a template for my legal docs, but I'm going to double check. So I've got to go to templates here. Yes. So basically for the legal docs, because also this generator is also going to give me HTML source code. So what I do is I just have a Bricks template that is set up to be applied to any page that is in this Happy Files folder, this Rechtstext, which is a legal documents folder, right? So there's a cookie thing in here, cookie policy, there's a privacy policy and the legal notice. Sometimes there could be terms and conditions and a bunch of other stuff, right? So this template is really straightforward. It just has a basic section. Inside the section, there's a post title. The post title is going to be, yeah, exactly. It's just, it pulls in the post title and then it's a post content. And the post content, I'm going to use Gutenberg to just put the HTML in. And in the template settings, you go here to go to template settings and you go conditions. And the terms is that, you know, I want this to apply to everything inside that folder, right? That's it. Now, we're going to leave this. We're going to go back to page. We're going to go to Impressum. I can also open the Datenschutzerklärung, which is the privacy policy page as well. And we bring this up here. We have a paragraph. Yay, the Impressum is coming soon. I'm going to delete that. Can I just delete the whole? Yeah, delete. And I'm going to put code, custom HTML. And then I just paste it in here and that's it. I click on update. And then on the front end, it should render inside the template that we just looked at. Yeah, bingo. Obviously, I don't need another H1 Impressum up here. There. That's it, right? Okay. Bit of tea. And now we're going to use information like this here to make our privacy policy. It's just asking me, do I want to enter my own data or do I want to use template text? I don't want to enter my own data. Yes, I'm using analysis tools by third parties. Who's hosting this? It's a company called Netcup, and I'm going to have to look up their contact data. Yes, I have an AVV. It's a contract about how they're going to process data that, you know, comes across their service. There's an English term for that as well, but I forgot what it is. Is it DPA? I think data processing agreement or amendment or something like that. Not using Cloudflare, not using Google Cloud, not using any of that stuff. Continue. All the stuff that they pre-selected is just because it's mandatory, right? They put it here for us to see and understand, but they just pre-selected for us. And this is what we need to get from the legal notice that the client gave us. So we have name and address, phone number and email address, info at yada yada. Is it using SSL? Yes. There's no payment, there's no encrypted payment, there's no advertising emails that are being sent. We don't have a privacy officer. Yeah, this is always the part where I'm like, yeah, I mean, yes, it's using cookies, yes, for sure. But then I don't think on this website we're using actual cookies that do any tracking, that collect any personal information, which is what the GDPR is really about. What's going to happen with any personal information that any user deliberately or inadvertently shares with the website. And that's, you know, what this whole shebang is about. So yes, it's using cookies. How are we managing the you know, the cookies? And we're using compliance. Since this is locally hosted on the server, there's no DPA that we need to do with this provider. We're using none of the other stuff. I think there's not a contact form. There's server log files, I believe. People can contact us via email, phone, or fax. No WhatsApp, Signal, Typeform, Google Forms, Jotform, none of that stuff. Yeah, none. We're not using any of that. Okay, cool. Continue. Social media, there's no social media stuff. Analysis tools, we're using Matomo. Where is it? There. Yes, its IPs are anonymized. We're going to do that together in a moment. Yes, we deactivated, or we will deactivate Matomo cookies. So in Matomo, you can set it up to do cookieless tracking. Apparently, it's going to be less precise, but it does the job, especially for somebody who doesn't even really care that much about tracking. Here's the thing. I'm not a marketing professional. And there are and the whole company is just doing just SEO and marketing campaigns. I can do some basic SEO, but if ever there's, a client really wants to do heavy marketing, online marketing, and, like prevail against competition in their field and be number one on Google and consistently in the long term, that's when they need to hire professional companies that really do that stuff. And there, of course, this is the whole point why I'm telling you this speech. They're, of course, going to use Google Ads, Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, and all that stuff that looks like a 747 cockpit to me. Where are we hosting Matomo? Locally on our own server or a NetCup server, which is in Nuremberg in Germany. Ionos, yada, none of that stuff. No other analytics, plausible, Avalanche. We're not using any of that stuff. Yeah. Continue. Any newsletter data? Nope, there's no newsletter stuff on this website. Plugins and tools, we're not embedding YouTube. We're not using Vimeo. We are using Google Fonts, but we're using them locally. Adobe Fonts, Font Awesome, My Fonts, Google Maps, no. Bing Maps, Mapbox, OpenStreetMap, Recapture, we're not using that. HCapture, no. Friendly, Cloudflare, Akismet, Solid WP, none of that stuff. Nope. No ChatGPT. Manage WP, no. I'm using main WP to manage multiple websites at the same time. No affiliate partner stuff, no e-commerce and payment, no audio video conferencing, no own services, like there's no people who apply for anything on this website. We're not using OneDrive or Google Drive. And this, let's do an English translation of the website, of the privacy policy. Yes, I've understood the disclaimer. And I'm going to continue to the project manager, and we are good. Now I can just go here to HTML and I get this whole privacy policy in German. Since this is a German website, it is in English, but it's in Germany and it's, in German, part of a German institution. So that's why with the client together, I decided that the legal docs will be in German. But, if they want to be entirely sure, they're going to have to talk to a lawyer and, get legal advice about whether they're going to need this stuff in English in the end. So Control A, delete code, custom HTML, paste it in here. At the top, get rid of the H1, which says privacy policy. Look at it in the front end, and it's fine. So we're missing one thing. Matomo, once you have it set up, allows you to, in this privacy policy, to opt out of any tracking at all. And Matomo uses a shortcode that we're going to put in here as an extra point after hosting. So I have another thing where I have much more detailed steps than this for myself. And one of these steps contains something I wrote for Matomo. So basically I can just get this here and then go back to the privacy policy. I don't need this tab, don't need this tab, don't need this tab. No longer need that. This I don't need. There, clean. And we find Matomo. Bada bing, bada bing, bada bing. Hosting is here, right? Then this is plugins and tools. It's the next section. So in here we put this, and it basically says your right to decline or restrict processing. And then here is where the shortcode goes. So as soon as Matomo is set up, which is what we're going to do now, this is going to work and people can opt out there. Now we go to plugins, add new plugin. I don't believe Matomo is installed. Matomo. So, it is installed. We just need to activate it. And then press F5 and it should show up in the left sidebar. Come on, load. Yep. There it is. we enable tracking now. It's just one button click. Update your privacy page. I just did that. I put this shortcode in there and I don't need to see this page anymore. Now I can go to Matomo and I go to settings and I go to Matomo admin. Yeah, that's a false positive. Details. Yeah, I want to visit it. No, I. It's not a dangerous site. Come on. Okay, so it just tells me it's dangerous. So, oh yeah, right. Okay, that's how. So now, Matomo, the Matomo config page is one of the few pages that I've ever encountered that is just absolutely incompatible with uBlock Origin. So you need to disable it, and then you get the full general settings for Matomo. Oh my God, really? How am I on PHP 7.4? Dude. Okay, I'm going to fix the PHP version. That's not cool. So this is the kind of stuff you find out while you're doing the final, tech setup before launch. And this is hopefully things that you catch before, you go live with your website. So that's also why I have all these quality assurance rounds here at the end, right? Because these are the things we want to double check and triple check, because obviously PHP 7.4 hasn't been supported in a long time, and we're on 8.3, which is where I'm going to go now. So this is my hosting company's control panel, Netcup. And we can see here that, yes, it's on PHP 7.4. We're going to go to 8.3. In fact, before we do that, let's just make a backup. There's no reason really to make a backup because I know it works. But I don't want to have a root surprise either. Go to manual backup here and call it before PHP 8.3. Going to back up to localhost. Backup now. There we are. Backup's done. And if I ever need it, I'll just go into FTP and download it. But we should be good here. We're going to set it to 8.3. We need to set this to standard. And then we press OK. And this is usually just a matter of seconds. So while I'm here, yeah, no, the rest is fine. The rest is properly set up. Okay, so we're good. And I'm going to press Control F5. We are going to go to Tools, Site Health. Going to look at the server settings, and it should already be on 8.3. It's slow right now. Server. Yeah, there we go. So this should also stop complaining. Wonderful. We go to privacy in Matomo. We go to anonymized data, and we want everything here is cool. Replace user ID with a pseudonym, anonymize user ID, force tracking without cookies. All good. We want that. Save. We want to regularly delete old raw data. Yes, I think so. 180 days, sure. My current password. Now, sometimes it's not going to work. Yeah, it did work. Matomo has a bug where you enter your password and then up here you get a red thing saying your password isn't correct. And then there have been cases where I just couldn't find a solution for that. I think here at some point I read delete old aggregated report data, that 6 months is fine. And all of this can be default. Yes. Settings updated, wonderful. The schedule old data deletion, anonymize previously tracked raw data. There's no previously tracked. And I think that's all we need, to the best of my knowledge. If you want to double or triple check this, you go to compliance, Matomo setup guide, because they have one. Yeah, actually, I think they have even more than that. They have more than just one. compliance. So definitely look up the compliance guide. Let me see if I don't have, did I have a guide here? Configure so no need for cookie ban. Oh, there's a guide. Yes, that's it. Right, this one. So how do I use Matomo Analytics without consent or cookie banner? Actually, I'm going to put this link in the description for you guys. Write this down. Link to Matomo guide. Yeah. Again, I just keep telling my clients, and it's also in my terms and conditions, that I'm not a lawyer. I'm not allowed and I'm not able to guarantee 100% legal security. So everything we're doing here is based on a ton of research that I've done over many years, and I keep, I try to keep up to date with what's happening with the laws in Germany and Europe. But yeah, there's only so much I can offer as a web designer. So we've got Matomo set up. That part's done. Let's see, what do we have in the project tracker here? Where's Matomo? Web Analytics, all good. We just did our legal documents, yes. Cookie policy and banner, I don't want to do that today. We're going to do the 404 page. Let's see if it's already fine. No, it's not. So we go back to edit with bricks, go to bricks templates. So in bricks, you just make a template for your 404 error, right? And then you go to edit with bricks. And then in the settings, for the template settings, shouldn't it be? Oh, no. Let me show you again. If I go back to templates, my templates, leave, yes. When you create the template, then you set as a type, you set it as the default error page, right? And then you don't need to do anything more in the actual template setup. So edit with bricks, and we're going to write a nice funny text here, and we're going to give it some. The thing is, what you want to do here is you want to create a user-friendly template so that if somebody goes to a link on your website that doesn't exist, they don't get just a 404 error standard browser message, but they get something that gives them something useful. And, at least you want to have a link to the front page and a link to contact. So that's what we're going to do. So first of all, this button here needs to be, was it dark? I think dark, right? And then we're going to go front page, and yeah, this is the page. And contact us, we're just going to get a mail to link, external URL, mail to info@myxotech.com. And of course, this is also going to be a dark button. And we have this text that I'm going to write something funny. All right, so I just wrote some funny text here. And again, we have the buttons that do what buttons do. And now if I go to myxotech.com/ha, then that is where we land, and it's all good. If I go to front page, go back to the front page, or if I click on contact us, then Thunderbird opens and everything's hunky-dory. So that part is done. There. Cookie policy, I don't want to do that. Punch list is done. Speaking of the punch list, there's one other thing that Peter and I did while you guys weren't looking. We decided, you might remember that here in this text, we already talked about that the yellow tone was kind of too bright to really read on white background. So I darkened it a little bit. And then Peter said it's still not very easy to read. So we agreed that we're just going to use the brand color for the highlighted text here. We can still use it in the headline because it's bold and it's fine, but in the text, we just use the darker brand color, which I think is an acceptable compromise here. We are gonna go on to, don't need this anymore. Clean and tidy. Housekeeping. Yeah, I don't know, not today. I'm gonna do the security. I'm gonna do the caching. And I'm gonna do performance and the Favicon. We're gonna do the Favicon together. Those are the three things that we're still gonna do today. So we start with security. Go back to the backend here. I think it's installed but not activated. I'm using a plugin called, it's not even installed, All-in-One WP Security. Add new plugin. Oh my God. Security and Firewall. That's the name of the plugin. Wait, what? Oh, okay. So I'm using admin and site enhancements, and it it allows me to sort plugins so that everything that's activated is at the top and then what's deactivated is at the bottom. So there is our all-in-one WP security. And here, down here, we have this shield. Now I can, at this point, I can breeze through all these settings, but there's a ton. And I'm going to explain to the best of my knowledge why I pick which settings and why I'm not picking other settings. So on the dashboard, there's nothing we need to do. On the settings page, there's nothing we need to do. I'm going to show it to you real quick. You can just set up a bunch of stuff here. You can download your HT Access as a backup, your WP config. You can reset the plugin. You can learn stuff about WP, like the WP that's installed, two-factor auth and stuff. So there's some setup here you can do, but we're not doing it. User security, user accounts, everything's fine. The admin username is good. Everything here is fine. Disable users enumeration. This feature allows you to prevent external users bots from fetching the user info, which URLs like author. When enabled, the feature will print a forbidden error. Yes, we can have that on. Save settings. We go to login lockout. Yes, I want to turn on the login lockout feature. Unlock requests, people can, have a bunch of unlock requests, but if they exceed them, then they're going to be locked out. I think the minimum locked out time length needs to be higher than the time period here. Display generic error message. No, I don't care. Instantly lock out invalid usernames. Yes. Notify by email. I don't need a notification for that. Save settings. Login lockout IP whitelist. I can just whitelist somebody. Like I recently had a client who told me, listen, I tried to log in and I got locked out a couple of times, and I don't know what happened, but I just whitelisted her IP and then it was fine. Enable force user logout. I actually did that once. So it basically you force users to get logged out after 60 minutes or 120 or whatever you set. And I set that up and I set it to 60 minutes, and like after 5 minutes I got kicked out. So I was like, well, clearly this isn't working the way I wanted to, and I didn't want to investigate why, so I don't care. Manual approval. I set this to on, so if somebody tries to register for this website, I get to approve that first. Salt is a nice spice. Salts are secret phases which are combined, so you can have a postfix for that. I would need to look into that deeper in order to activate it. I've been keeping it deactivated. Additional settings, disable application password. That's something I enabled. You can read here what it does. It's one of those cases where I was like, I guess that makes sense. I'm just going to activate it. I don't fully understand it, but sure. And it never did me any harm. Now for the content current database table prefix, when you set up WordPress, the first time you install WordPress, it has a default prefix that it puts on every table in your database, in your SQL database. And I've made it a habit to always change that from WP underscore to something else underscore, in this case MT. So there's nothing here that needs to be done now through the security plugin. But if you ever forget that, or if you just have it set to the default, which is what hackers expect to find, or hack bots, then you can still change it here. I'm always apprehensive about renaming tables in a database of a running website where everything is already set up. I don't know. I wouldn't want to try it. You can set recommended permissions on files in your WordPress root directory or other important directories here. And that's pretty cool. So I just did that. Everything's green. File protection. Yes, I just want to enable all of this. You can pause the video and read what these do. It's pretty well documented. I've done my reading and I'm just activating it. Copy protection. I think this is just way too much. It just messes with the user. Like, if somebody wants to download images from your website and they've got the wherewithal, they will download images from your website. They can use browser extensions. They can go into the DOM in the source code and just find the link and then get it. So if you disable right-click text selection and copy, you're just annoying your users. That's all you're doing. But I want to stop other people from using this website in an iframe. Firewall. All the PHP rules, just turn them all on. They're all good. It's all fine. Yes, all good. Never had any problems with that. HT access rules, all of that stuff you can turn on as well. This is just, these are rules that the plugin writes into your HT access file on your server, which is nice because it offers, not just protection inside the context of the WordPress installation, but also on the server itself in the HT access file. So that's a little bit, some added security. 6G firewall settings, yes. Save firewall settings, advanced options. I'm even turning this on, block the put method, saving the firewall settings. So far, this hasn't caused any troubles on any of my websites. Internet bots. So even if I don't fully understand everything I'm doing here, I'm just, I have reason to trust this tool. I've used it for a while and it has broken some of my sites, and I'm going to show you in a moment why. But I found then what I needed to disable. Enable user agent blacklisting. I never touched that. This one I used to have enabled, but I needed to learn that the REST API is really a critical central part of WordPress. And after it broke a couple of contact forms and made some clients quite angry, I learned not to touch that. Advanced settings, no, that's fine. We go to brute force. That's a cool one. Spam bots or people trying to break into your website know that they can go to yourwebsite.com/wp-admin and expect to find the login page. But if you rename this to access or anything, then you're cloaking it. If there's articles on the internet that basically tell you that this is pretty much useless because nobody really tries that anymore. Like they've long caught up, but still. It's have or not have, and I prefer to have. So, there we go. I'm renaming it to access. I'm putting that in my KeePass on my other screen. There. Saved settings, cookie-based brute force prevention. I don't want to mess with cookies, also because it says that there's a bunch of testing that I need to do before I really can use this feature. Default capture. I want to do a simple math capture on my login page and a whole bunch of other things. It messed with some comments. Was it comments forms? Yeah, when you enable it on comment forms, it started inserting itself in contact form 7 contact forms, and it messed with one of my clients. So since then I've been keeping it disabled. Login white, but that's been a while, so perhaps it's been fixed. Enable this if you want whitelisting of selected IP addresses. Yeah, sure. Login whitelist. So you can whitelist people who are trying to log in. For detection, honeypot. Yeah, I like honeypots, so I'm going to put these in there as well. Honeypots are basically fields that are invisible for humans, but they're visible to bots. So if a bot fills it, then it's a bot, so then you can block them. And that's what this honeypot feature does. Spam prevention. Yes, I want to prevent spam. Move spam to comments to trash after 40 days. Spam IP monitoring, sure. Let's just look for IPs that are known to spam and block them immediately. Since there's no blog on this website and there's no comment fields, it doesn't really matter, but it's nice to have. And I think it's probably a decent alternative to Akismet. So, saves you a plugin. Scanner. Yes, you can scan your website if you want, which is really nice. And all of this is free. So it's cool. I like this. But yeah, we don't need to do that now. But what I do like is I can still add more stuff to the HT access file here. So why am I doing this through this plugin instead of just downloading the HT access file and then editing it and re-uploading it? Because if I ever migrate this website somewhere else, let's say from here to staging to do a bunch of work and then back from staging to here, and I decide I'm going to delete the original website and then just put the staging website in a new folder to have a clean start, fresh database and everything, then I lose the htaccess file that I made. But if I put it in this plugin, the plugin's going to remember. So as soon as I re-enable the plugin, it puts my htaccess rules back into the new htaccess file. So that's why I started doing that. So now if I go to, on my computer, if I go to WordPress, web assets, I have htaccess.samples in here, display. And I have a bunch of stuff that I put in my htaccess file. So first of all, I want to have an HTTPS redirect without www, right? There. Enable to activate the custom rules inserted. Enable this if you want to place your custom rules at the beginning. Yes. So begin redirects without www. So if anybody goes to www.myxotech.com, they're immediately going to be redirected to https/ nothing.myxotech.com. So myxotech.com without the www. And also this redirect also redirects you from HTTP to HTTPS, which is what modern websites need to be on. And then we need the HTTP security headers. Somebody just gave them to me. I've been researching HTTP security headers, and I spoke to a bunch of people on Facebook, and eventually somebody gave me theirs and said they've been working for me, and I just put them in there and I'm happy. So if now you go to securityheaders.com and you just scan tech.com, MyxoTech.com, it should give us an A+. Bingo. So everything is set up properly, and this is happy. So what these security headers do is just at the server level, at the htaccess level, it sets up a bunch of rules about what can be done on this website and what cannot be done on this website. And that's basically it. You can read through all the details here. See, they're all being explained. And so securityheaders.com is a good one to have in your toolkit. And that's it. We've configured security, and we can set this, we can mark this as done. Where is it? Website security here. Okay. We want to do caching, and we don't want to do the plugin, the favicon. We're going to do that first. We're going to go to realfavicongenerator.net, not favicon checker. Actually, let's run the favicon checker first, just to show you. Whoops. No, go back. Just to show you what we're trying to do here. And I'm going to go find the favicon. So the favicon is here on my computer in the client folder. I'm going to use a PNG here, 512 by 512 pixels. I made that at the beginning of the project, and we're going to be using that now. So, oh my God, I already did it. I already implemented the favicon. So this was done before we even started this diary, so I don't remember. But what you want to do, and realfavicongenerator.net is your tool for that, is you want to have a favicon that doesn't just work here in the tab, right, in the browser tab, but you also want it to work on Safari, in those special tabs that Safari has. You want it to work on Windows 10 tiles. You want it to work if anybody ever bookmarks your website on their Android phone or smartphone, iOS phone's home screen. You want the favicon to be properly sized, good resolution. You don't want it to be blocky or pixelated or just not appear at all. So that's why you use this, because if you go to here and you just upload your favicon and then use this generator, it's self-explanatory really. It's going to guide you through the process step by step to set up that favicon, and it's going to explain to you how to then put that favicon on your website. I'm going to show you real quick how it's done. So we go to FileZilla. I'm going to log in just a moment. So once you're done with the favicon generator, it just gives you a zip file, and it gives you a bunch of code that you need to put on your website so to implement these favicons. And then the zip file you just unzip on your computer, and then you just upload it here to the root of your website. So see, it contains a bunch of, this browser config.xml, different size PNGs for the favicon, and ICO files. So everything that different devices and different browsers are going to be looking for to implement your favicon, you can just upload that here. And then on your website, you just use a code editor or you could put it in your theme, in your child theme. I've put it in WP Codebox. It's just here an HTML5 snippet, right? And it's just this code is always going to be the same, so it's part of my blueprint setup. So I don't ever need to re-add it or something. But you can get it from the Favicon generator. It gives you that code, and then you can just save it. And that's it. If you don't want to use code, you can just use the real Favicon generator plugin, which you install on WordPress, and you just keep installed and activated, and it does the trick for you. It's very lightweight. It's very easy. So, saves you some trouble. There. So Favicon's done. And now we go to WP Optimize. Just the next one, add new plugin. Now I believe this isn't installed. It's clearly not activated. WP Optimize. It is active. Why am I not seeing? Where is it? Oh, there. I overlooked it. This is WP Optimize. So again, we're going to do yet another backup, manual backup. We are going to back up to localhost, and this time I call it B4 WPO. Backup now. Wait. Right. There we go. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Where was I? I took a pee, so now I'm back and I forgot what I was doing. WP Optimize. So we go here, we go to database. First of all, just as a cleanup, it's basically like, you remember those registry cleaners that Windows sometimes that you can get for Windows? This is basically it. It just deletes, deprecated stuff in your database, just cleans it up. So I'm going to select all here, and I've never had this cause me any trouble. So I think this is very safe to do. Run all selected optimizations. So meanwhile, I'm going to talk about WP Optimize. It's a tool that lets you do a bunch of different things, including, caching, minification, gzip compression, lifespan stuff. So pretty much what page speed check tools want from you. You can do most of that in WP Optimize. It's all rolled into one. And what I like about it is that it even has image compression built into it. So you don't need to install EWWW image optimizer or Smoosh, or what's the other one? Short Pixel. Like I just use WP Optimize, and it's one plugin for all of that. Plus it has this database optimization. So that's really nice. Even just the free version gives you a ton of tools to just optimize your website really nicely. While we wait, we're going to go to MyxoTech.com, and this is an incognito window. Just look at it. Actually, it loads really fast already. I guess there's times of the day where it doesn't load as fast. Like yesterday, I opened the website and it actually took a moment. There was like 1 or 2 seconds of nothing, and then it loaded. What WP Optimize does for you is that it makes it really crazy fast. I believe I have a video that shows actually. So there's a company here in Germany, a hosting company called Strato, which is one of the biggest hosting companies in Germany. And it's horribly slow. If you're on their shared hosting, you're screwed. Like it's really slow. And so I had one client just a couple of weeks ago that told me, listen, my website is so incredibly slow. It's on Strato. Can't we do anything about that? And we looked back and forth into, migrating the website to Netcup, which is my hosting company. And we decided, okay, that's actually too much trouble. But then I realized, wait, this website doesn't have any caching on it. So I implemented WP Optimize. And I think I have a before after video that I recorded for this client. So let me double check if I can find that. Yeah, I remember. Okay, so this is the video, right? You get like a 70 at ping num, and you get like 59 for mobile performance on page speed, and like Google's page speed. And then if you just open the website, it does take a while, right? Like there's like this initial time to first byte, and then you could see the image pop into existence and stuff like that. And then I just spent some time actually doing, then if you saw me click and load a different page, and that took a moment. So right now in WP Optimize, I'm doing that, the stuff that we're doing right now, I'm doing it in this video here to show it off. And then there's an after. Yeah, this is after, right? So we got up to 70 on mobile performance, and then on desktop it went up to 94 for Google's page test, and this is 89. So speed test results are much better than before. And then if you just open the website, it's this crazy difference there. That's fucking nuts, right? And that's on really slow hosting. It's still, Strato is still a crazy pain to work with in the back end. If you ever need to edit a website that you've built, heaven forbid, with Beaver Builder, which some of my older websites are, and then it's on Strato, oh God, it takes forever to just work with it. So I recommend Netcup, although I also recommend don't go to Netcup because the more clients they have, I'm afraid they're going to get smaller. So don't go to Netcup. But Netcup is awesome. So this is done. Database, it's cleaned up all the database. The website should still work. I'm just crossing my fingers here. The image settings. I'm automatically compressing any newly added images. I tell it I want to prioritize retention of detail. At first, I had prioritize maximum compression, but really the images look much worse after that. I do want a WebP version of the image created automatically for me by the plugin that the plugin serves to browsers that can understand and work with WebP image, with the WebP image format. WebP image format is pretty damn powerful. It was introduced in 2012, I believe, by Google. So it's been around for 12 years, but still, even today, in 2024, there's browsers that can't really handle WebP images. So you serve your images, or you prepare your images as JPEGs or PNGs or GIFs or what have you. And then this plugin does the heavy lifting for you, creates WebPs, which are much smaller at the same quality overall. And that's fine. If you don't compress your images before you put them up on your website, like you could just export them from GIMP with the right settings, or you could just use a tool like XNConvert to batch compress your images before you put them up on the website. If you don't do that, they will show up here, and you can then just select all, and then you can, I just got distracted. And then you can just have them compressed here, right? Caching, that's what we're going to enable now. We want page caching enabled. We want a lifespan of 24 hours. So after 24 hours, the tool should clean the website cache, and then, so you don't end up with 47 gigabytes of cache after a couple months, right? I'm gonna have to just take a moment here and mute this because it's distracting. There we go. Okay. I recently had a website where actually it doesn't clean the lifespan, it doesn't clean the cache, and I cleaned 21 gigabytes of cache out of a website just a couple days ago. I don't know why that's happening. I opened a ticket with the hosting company because I suspect them, because it's the only website that I've seen this happen on. So usually this cache works perfectly. We go to advanced settings, gzip compression, I want that on. And the static file headers, I read somewhere on the internet that it's supposed to be, or it's a good idea to turn it to 32. So that's what I'm doing. I don't question authority. And I go to Minify and I enable Minify. I found that with my particular setup with Bricks and Advanced Themer, if I process JavaScript or CSS files, something goes tits up usually. So I decided it's not worth the hassle, really. I mean, you can do, obviously you have very fine-grained control over this. You can enable or decide at which point they should be merged or when they should be loaded, front, like footer or header. And there's a bunch of stuff. You can exclude JavaScript or CSS files from being minified. And I've had several websites where I just tried all these different things, and in the end I was like, you know what, screw it. It's not worth my time. We're gonna get really nice results here, even without all that. I do want to load Google Fonts. I want to add display swap. I want to inherit how to include Google Fonts on your pages when available. All of this I leave on default. Settings, I disable it for logged in users. And I remove meta information from page header. I think I do. Resource instance generator, yeah. Default WordPress and TinyMCA icons. We don't need those icons. Inline access CSS and JavaScript. Merge that, yes. SSL options is fine. And then save settings. preload, I can do that on the cache tab, and I go to advanced minify cache information. Yeah, so if you actually set up a minification cache, then here it's going to show you what files it actually on your website picked and minified, and then you can here manually exclude files from minification if you are running into problems. Again, that's what I did for the when I was tinkering with CSS and JavaScript. So cache is enabled, and I'm going to preload everything. That's basically, if you have a large website, it is going to take longer. It's basically as if a user went to the website for the first user ever to visit the website is going to, because it's the server is going to be like, oh, there's somebody here, and it's going to serve the contents of it's going to serve the website by building it. It gets the contents from the database, and then it executes WordPress PHP to just put it all together and then display it to the client or to the viewer. So that's how websites take longer to load. And the first time this happens, that's when this tool, WP Optimize, and also other caching tools just create a cached static version of that page that they were viewing. And this static cached version is going to be served in the future, which makes everything, which makes page load speeds so nice and fast, like we just looked at the video about the hotel. So this is what we're doing now. We're going to preload and we're going to run now, and it's basically doing that first visit for you and generating all of these cached, static files. So we're waiting here. I'm going to pause. Oh no, it's done. Okay, good. I expected it not to take long either. So we go back to, we're going to close we're going to use Firefox this time. Just have a different browser, MyxoTech.com. Bada bing, bada boom. So you see how crazy fast this is. It was crazy fast before, but this is even faster now. Happy days, happy days. For shits and giggles, let's go to pagespeed.webdev and let's go to Pingdom. Again, towards the end of this, we're going to run a tool-assisted website audit, which I'm going to run it through these tools, but also a whole bunch of other ones, just to see if there's any, any issues that we can still discern, that we can still work on. MyxoTech.com. And since I'm in Germany, I'm going to test from Frankfurt, start test. Should get some insights here in a moment. Yeah, 67. I have been struggling to get really nice performance testing results for mobile devices from pagespeed.web.dev. But really, if you look at the actual user experience, if you just take a smartphone and open the website, it loads really fast. And also, but this is weird. Why am I getting 75? That's uncool. Layout shifts. Okay, so there's stuff here that I will still need to look into. Yeah, this is clearly something I'm not yet happy with. And I'm not sure why I'm getting here. I'm getting 86. That's nice. Compress components with gzip. That's something that I found that Pingdom always tells you to compress components with gzip, even though it is activated. It's right there. It's activated. So beats the hell out of me. There's clearly still some room for improvement here. I kind of expected this to be much nicer now. Yeah. Now at this point, it's a question of how much is it worth to bring this up to 90 something, which I would really like to see, at least here on the desktop performance. And it's gonna be a question of, is it justifiable to do all that work? Now, if I invest 1 or 2 hours to really find out what's going on under the hood of the website that gives us these poor results, when actually when I open it, it goes as fast as we just saw, then somebody's got to pay for that. And it's just, we're not doing SEO for this website. We don't want to be on, there's no competition that we want to beat out for the first spot on Google. So why really go to these lengths, right? So that's my thought process here. We've done our due diligence. We've set up the caching plugin. We've set it up the way I usually set it up, and I usually get really nice results with that. We see that it's loading really fast for users, and that's that really. Web analytics is done. Checking finalization. This. You see, there's still a bunch of holes in here. There's still a bunch of stuff that we need to do. I'm going to look into whether we have the emails set up the way we want them to. And the next video, we're going to go through, the remaining parts. And that's it. We're good for today. My voice is disappearing. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this was insightful. I hope you gained a couple of interesting, thoughts and ideas from that. And we will be back soon. Talk to you then. Bye.